Hello there, health coaches. A couple of years ago, I started catching wind about there's this board certification coming. There's going to be certified coaches. And I'm like, what the heck is everybody talking about? But I started hearing about it. It was something we never had before. So I really did not know much about it. And every year it's becoming more and more popular. I think it's become pretty much mainstream by now, where it seems like most health coaches straight out of school are talking about got to get board certified, or do I need it, or whatever. It's kind of mulling that over right away, if not sitting for the boards immediately. One thing that I want to tell you right off the bat is that I've been a practicing health coach for 13 years. People pay a premium to work with me. I have clients around the world. Not once has anyone ever asked if I am board certified, because they don't know what it is. People don't know. They barely know what a health coach is, right? No one ever asks about my training at all, to be honest. But that is the power of marketing. To have these perfect clients who are ready to work with you, basically no questions asked, they know they want in. So if you are looking for support around the marketing piece of your business, before we get into today's topic, I just want to let you know that the waitlist is now open for 2022's Fast Track. And I highly, highly recommend adding your name to the waitlist, because it means that you're going to get priority access to the program and the best possible bonus package. I cannot stress that enough. It takes 2 seconds. You want to go to healthcoachpower.com/waitlist and add your name to the list. I'm going to say that again. It's healthcoachpower.com/waitlist. But I digress, because today we are talking about board certification. If you're here live, tell us in the comments, are you board certified? Are you planning on sitting for the exam? And I've invited Dr. Cherie Kroh to join me today and talk all about it. So Cherie, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
I need you for this episode, because I do not have a depth of knowledge on this topic. Like I said, I've been doing the work of a health coach for many, many, many years, and this has just kind of popped up. So tell us, how did you get involved with board certification, with the NBC, HWC in the
Yeah,
first place?
it's a mouthful.
It is.
I was initially introduced to what the previous, well, they used to be called something different. ICHWC was the previous name. But a colleague of mine, Margaret Moore, is the owner of Well Coaches, and she was obviously heading that effort to create that board. And so I became aware of it just through conversations with her, and understanding the work they were trying to do, which is basically, it comes down to, if you want to work in healthcare, generally there's either licensure or board certification. And so their push was to get health coaches specifically into healthcare. So maybe not someone that's hanging a shingle, but working with patients in partnership with a primary care team, for example. And so in order to do that work, they believed that board certification and having a governing board was necessary.
Yes, makes sense. And so did you sit for the boards early on then?
I did. I was one of the first cohorts in early 2018. It started in 2017, but I think I was the second cohort. So I've had it a while now, and tried to study for the exam as best as I knew how. At the time, I was teaching a lot of this material, so I probably wasn't the best studier, to be honest. But one of the ways I like to study is to create test questions for myself. That's just what works for me. And so
Okay.
I just started posting them on a Facebook page, because I thought, well, if these help me, they might help somebody else. And then from there, it blew up, because it was obviously helping other people as well try to figure out how to study for this pretty enormous exam. I would say it's over 4 hours. So yeah.
Wow. So when you say a study question or a test question, that's not an actual question from the exam, right? That's something
I'm just making them up as I go.
you're
Based
making
on,
something up. Okay. Tell us more
yeah.
about that.
So I just take the content outline, which is the guiding document you would use to study for this exam. The board puts out a content outline, and I just take the competencies that they list that you need to know for the exam, and I create test questions around them. I've been a professor a long time, and so creating test questions was just not a new skill to me. And so I, I
Got
just
it.
started posting them, and then the debate in the comments about what answer is correct and stuff. That discussion, that debate that happens, that's what helps people learn. So I think, people will come back and read comments and debate, which is always fun online, right? Our debates in the comments.
Always.
Yeah.
Hopefully they revolve around some topic like vaccines to really make it
Yeah,
interesting, though.
totally.
Oh, goodness. All right. Well, could you like tell us what one of those test questions might be? Not that we're going to do the whole debate right here, but I'm curious what a sample is.
Yeah, so oftentimes, well, if you go to the board website, nbhwc.org, they have a practice test that you can take to get a sense of what's on the exam and what the questions are like. And you'll notice from that practice test, a lot of them are case study questions. So then it's always a case study, usually from the practice test, you can kind of glean. And then what you're debating between is what is the best next step for the coach to take.
Mhm.
And you're always trying to decide what's the best answer, not like most correct or there's only one correct answer. There's just a best answer for the coach approach. And so that's where all the debate can come in then. Is that really the best way to handle this situation? Right? We can all go down that road 100 times over.
Yes, yes. No, that's very interesting. And I imagine it's going to cause a lot of discussion among coaches who come from different schools,
Exactly.
coaches who come from different dogmas, I want to say. We have our
Yeah.
vegan coaches, we have our keto coaches.
Yeah.
How can everyone be expected to answer the same question in the best way?
Yeah. So the competencies I think are broad enough where it is possible. So for example, one competency is that in general, coaches, we don't tell people what to do, right? We honor their autonomy. So when you're looking for that next or that best answer, what you're looking for is making sure that in the answer choices, the coach isn't suggesting or leading, right? And that's shared across all coaching schools. So it's broad in that way. It doesn't get as specific as our niche areas. So it's doable. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And you said a little bit earlier that this board certification is mainly been created in order to standardize health coaching within a medical setting.
Yep.
So can you give us some examples of health coaches that you've seen take the boards and it was very, very applicable to them because of the types of jobs that they wanted to get?
Sure. Yeah. So you'll see a trend happening where currently there's a lot of healthcare systems that are, posting opportunities for coaches, and they are requiring the NBCHWC. And so there is this sort of, I wouldn't say it's prolific right now, but it is, you can see the trend happening where it's starting to become either a requirement or preferred when it comes to working with patients in particular within a clinic, healthcare type referral setting. So I think there is that recognition that there needs to be some standardization so that we, in healthcare, we don't do harm. We always make sure we're abiding by HIPAA and protecting our clients or patients' privacy and security. So it's not a shocker, right, that we would have this in healthcare, given every other healthcare profession has it. And I just think this is the push for one side of coaching to be recognized as part of the healthcare team, where you don't have to be part of the healthcare team to be a coach. My goodness, you've been doing it for years and you're making it just fine. But it's just one area of the coaching world that says, hey, to be in healthcare and be a member of that healthcare team, we really want to elevate sort of this shared standard.
Right. Makes sense. Okay. So if we're looking to work with doctors, be part of a medical team, I always think of it just in terms of if you're planning to be hired by an entity other than yourself,
Sure, yeah.
This is not, maybe not everyone is requiring it right now, but it's definitely what's coming. So that makes a lot of sense. Can you say something about accepting insurance? Because we get that question a lot. And I think that's like one of the main things people think of. Oh, if I'm board certified, I can accept insurance. Is it just that easy?
Yeah, so not right now, definitely not. So currently, the codes that are developed for health coaches are being tested in research studies. And what happens at the end of these studies is the data is presented to Medicare to demonstrate coaching efficacy. So for example, if I coach somebody for 12 weeks, I can get them off metformin, for example, if they're if they're a person with type 2 diabetes. So that data is presented to Medicare. It should be presented to Medicare in about 2 years. And then they make the decision to make it a code that is then reimbursable. What that means is then the service of coaching is reimbursed by Medicare first. And then once Medicare reimburses for something, of course, all the other insurance companies follow suit. So that is the expectation, is that in about 2 years, that data will be ready to present to them, maybe even sooner, I've heard, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with research. You never know. And then they will make the decision to say yes to the free codes that were presented to offer reimbursement for health coaches. And of course, reimbursement changes everything, right? And how it was written in terms of the language is that in order to be reimbursable by healthcare, insurance, Medicare, you have to have your certified health education specialist certification or the NBC-HWC. Those are the only two they're going to allow to be reimbursable. So that is why I push it so much. If people are interested in working with patients, like, get this now, because when it becomes reimbursable, you'll be ready to then accept that reimbursement or get paid,
Right.
and not have your client doing the paying, the insurance companies doing the paying, which is super nice.
And that's such a barrier sometimes when we do try to partner with doctors, but they're accepting insurance and we're not. And someone's like, wait, why do you cost a $20 copay and you cost thousands of dollars out of my pocket?
Yep.
Yeah. So it makes so much sense. Okay. So if you're planning to work in that realm, then this is definitely something to consider. You mentioned, like, if you're hanging a shingle, if you're someone who's running your own online business, you are your own boss, you're running the show, you're finding your own clients, you're having nothing to do, with the medical community at all. Then is there a pro to being board certified that maybe isn't immediately apparent?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I hate to leave things off the table. So for example, if you're not, you have a shingle up and you're health coaching and you're not board certified, if anyone was going to come, like a clinic or a PT clinic, or I don't know, any clinic in your community, and say, I want to partner with you, they're going to have a tough time convincing their administration to partner with you if you're not board certified, more than likely, because they need that reassurance that you're following HIPAA and you're abiding by patient privacy, because that's one of the most important things in healthcare. So I think you're kind of closing that door, but I think right now you would not have that issue. It's definitely a new and emerging sort of certification, and really it won't, in my opinion, take off until there's reimbursement, and then you'll see everything go down there, right? Like, I mean, we haven't had a profession enter healthcare that got reimbursement in decades. Like, this is just unheard of, that a new profession gets reimbursement for something as big as, like, stress management, for example. Like, that's never been reimbursable. It's incredible for our patients and our clients. What an opportunity.
So who's listening right now, or who's watching and has questions for Dr. Cherie? I think that this is definitely like the new frontier. It's like health coaching is changing, and maybe we're splitting into, like, we already are. There's so many different kinds of health coaches.
Sure.
I think this is becoming one of those subgroups. And I'm also curious if anyone here is already board certified or thinking of becoming board certified. What would be the first step if somebody is interested in sitting for the exam?
Yep, you have to pick a school. So, and the NBHWC, I don't know how to word this perfectly, how they do on their website, but they have approved programs. So what that means is they have come in, done their analysis of the curriculum and said, yep, this is the curriculum that will prepare you to sit for the exam. So you have to attend an approved program first. And then after that, there's a few other steps you take, like you have to do actual coaching hours and submit a log, and then apply to sit for the exam.
Okay. And obviously this information is all going to be on their website, because, like, the very first thing that comes to mind is, well, what if I went to IIN back in the year 0?
Yep.
Which is what it feels like. What about me? And then someone else is going to say, what if I went to this school? Blah, blah, blah. So all that stuff, I'm sure, is handled on their website.
Sure.
So good. So that's our first step. And then you mentioned, and I have heard, it is not an easy test. So say a little bit more about that. And also, what happens if you don't pass?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, I think there's mixed reviews in any national exam, right? The PTs have it, the nurses have it, athletic training has it. But in general, these exams are not usually very easy. So there is a commitment to study for these exams. And this one in particular, it's 4 hours. It's 150 questions, and they're mostly case studies.
That's intense.
So that's intense. Yeah, that's like, if you've ever just sat at a computer for 4 hours and tried to concentrate, that's no easy feat, in my opinion. Like, that's very difficult. So the studying piece, I think, is critical. Now, if you don't pass, obviously there's options for you. So you can retake the exam. You just have to pay a fee. I think it's $350 or something. And then if you don't pass the third time, you have to go back and retake an approved program.
Ooh.
So yeah, you get 3 chances.
And do you have any idea what percentage of people who take the test pass or don't
No,
pass?
they don't share that information right now
Okay.
because the exam is currently still in the validation stage, meaning they're doing all the psychometrics in the background to make sure their questions are valid and
Yeah.
reliable. And then once that phase is done of doing all that testing to make sure that the exam is sound, then they release like the passing score, for example. They'll release something like that.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Christina's asking, are board certified health coaches able to partner with product partners like oils or supplements? I understand that it is prohibited. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, the scope of practice and ethics documents of when you become board certified indicate that if you do, you can do it. You have to make sure it's in the agreement that is signed up front, and the client knows before they purchase from you that you are going to be doing that and that you are a rep of a certain company, or you have to just be completely transparent from the get-go. You can't mention it after the first session. According to the documents, that would be an ethical violation. So you
Mhm.
just want to make sure you're doing it all up front. It's not that you can't, you just have to make sure you're transparent.
Do you think that applies more, or is that written up more for those who are part of MLMs, or does that apply to any kind of affiliate marketing?
No, I think it's anything. Yeah, it
Interesting.
doesn't matter. Yeah. So like if you were, I don't know, maybe you work for GNC too, and you're a health coach, right? You would need to be transparent up front that you may recommend some products from GNC because you also work there. You just can't mention it 3 sessions in. That would
Okay.
not be, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I know a lot of us, for example, have accounts with Full Script, and we'll say, here are a
Hmm.
couple different brands of, multivitamins that I
Yep.
like, or something like that. So you would just want to say up front, as we would do anyway with affiliate marketing, I'm an affiliate with this brand or with this company, and you don't have to buy from this company, but I'm just going to share it with you in case it's useful.
Yeah, and you just want to make sure you have documentation that you have some sort of training in that area. That's also really important with scope of practice.
Okay, great. So we're going to sit for this 4-hour test. We know there's 150 questions.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to focus. We're going to get a good night's sleep. What are your top tips for passing this exam so we don't have to pay $350 to take it again?
I know, right? After you pay to sit for it anyway, and
Yes.
you paid for your approved program. Um, so best advice I can give is take the exam right after you finish your approved program, but that's just not always how it works out, right? I have many people that come to me for help studying for the exam that perhaps took their program 2 years ago. And that's a long time, and they need help studying for the exam again. And that makes perfect sense to me. Like, how do you go back to your notes from 2 years ago and just sit by yourself and try to figure it out? It's just
Yeah.
very difficult. So I'm all about finding the support you need and making sure you're following the content outline, and be careful of online resources. So, for example, you might use a Quizlet that already exists that's out there in the world. And these are like flashcard type apps and things you can use. But well, what I find is oftentimes it has the wrong information. And so
Uh-oh.
you're getting into sticky water there. So I would just encourage everyone to be really careful with certain online resources. Have that support system and follow the content outline to a T. Do not stray from the content outline, because that is the document that indicates what's on the exam. So don't study something that isn't there, right? We don't want to study appreciative inquiry. That's actually not a competency that's on the content outline, even though it's in all the textbooks with coaching. You just want to make sure you're following that.
Okay, good to know. And I understand that you are helping health coaches to prepare for the boards. You mentioned that you've been a professor. Why don't you tell us a little bit about why you're doing this and how you're doing it? How can coaches get help from you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my why is very simple in that we need a lot of health coaches in this world. We need more than we have. We need more diversity than we have, but we need more. I absolutely believe that we are the missing piece. We are the missing piece to people thriving, 100%. So however I can help people get into this field and commit to the discipline and be in it for the long haul and really help patients, clients reach their goals, whatever they are, whatever health goals they have. That is number one for me. I conduct research in this discipline, so I'm really interested in the efficacy of coaching. Does it really work, and why does it work? I'm more interested in figuring out, why does coaching work? I want to really commit to further research on that. And then honestly, I just love hanging out with health coaches. So I run study groups, and we just laugh a whole lot and have a lot of fun, because studying, let's be real, is not fun. So I try to figure out how to make it fun and how to create a supportive group where we're all in it to pass this exam together and we leave no one behind. So it's that sort of mentality as well. So yeah, I do study groups before every single exam month that it occurs. I've helped over 1,200 so far. I have a 95% pass rate. So I think we're doing something. Yeah, I think we're holding on to that, hopefully.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. We're super proud of that, me and my team, and just trying to really help people that need the extra support. Not everybody can just study by themselves and pass an exam. It's not that easy. That extra help is just key.
Yes, it sounds like it definitely would be from someone who's done it, from someone who's led other people through it for sure. And what's the timeline like for that? Like, we could take the test a couple times a year. And so for how many weeks ahead of time would we do the study group?
Sure, yeah. So the exam is currently offered 3 times a year, and I start my study group 12 weeks before that month that the exam period starts. So 12 weeks just generally tends to work out best, where you don't overwhelm, but you're far enough out where you're not stressing and trying to cram it all into 6 weeks. So it's we've found our sweet spot, I think, with the 12 weeks out.
Gotcha. Okay, good. So then everyone can go figure out where the dates are and kind of
Mm-hmm.
work it into your calendar, because that's a significant period of time to be
It
committed to
is.
something. And from what I hear from all of our many thousands of coaches in our health coach power community, is it does take a lot of studying. It's
Mm-hmm.
a commitment.
It is. Yep. There's not only understanding and reviewing, but also some memorizing of all those health numbers that you are tested on.
Okay, good to know. And I agree with you. Hanging out with health coaches is the best. I often say, like, I'm so
Mm-hmm.
blessed to be in this industry, because yes, I
Same.
have to go to work, but like, I get to hang out with like some of the best people with the biggest hearts all day long. And if I have to
Yep.
take a mental health day, everybody applauds instead of telling me I should go to work anyway.
Exactly. I'm like, these are my people. These are my
Yes.
people. Yeah, I feel the same way. Totally.
So it's always good when we have a reason to come together and work
Mm-hmm.
toward a common goal. So I'm so glad you're offering this. Where can our listeners go to find out more about your study groups?
Yeah, sure. My website is a little long, so I apologize. I'm rebuilding the new one. So it's on pause right now. So it's Wellness Coaching Elevated is the name of my business. So wellnesscoachingelevated.thinkific.com, which is THINKIFIC.com. And that's where
Okay.
all my study groups are, and they launch 12 weeks before any testing date.
And so that's where we'd want to go in order to see what you have available, the dates
Yep,
that they're starting, and also sign up. We were just right there on the site.
you got it. Yep. And then after you're certified, I do a lot of CEC courses as well, because you have to maintain your certification. So you have 3 years to get 36 continuing education credits. So there's that maintenance piece too.
Yes, just real quick, tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, any industry where you have certification or licensure, especially in healthcare, requires you to keep it up to date. So knowledge changes all the time. We're in a knowledge economy. So you have to kind of demonstrate that you're staying up to date with knowledge and changes within your industry. So pretty standard. You either go to conferences, take online courses. There's book clubs. There's all sorts of ways you can earn your continuing education credits.
Book clubs. That sounds fun. Okay, let's do
Mm-hmm.
it. We will post a link to your website as soon as we are done live here.
Sure.
I'll put it in the Facebook group, and we'll put it in the show notes for those of you that are listening via podcast, so you can all get ready for the next test date. Do you happen to know when it is?
Yes. So the next testing period is October 2022. So registration starts in June, and the study group will start in July. And we'll kick off with a big to do about how to make this work for you while studying in the summer. This is the hardest one, I think, because it's like people are on vacation and they're like, I'm studying on my cruise ship. And I'm like, you go. It's just a tough one. That October
Yes,
date.
it is a tough one,
Yeah.
but maybe you got some time off too that you're able to
Whew.
use. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Who knows?
Cherie, thank you so much for joining us today and talking about this hot topic.
Yeah, my pleasure. It was really nice to be here.
All right, everybody, I'll see you next week. Have a great one. Take
Bye,
care.
everyone.
Bye.